Scott, obviously you've done the analysis now, you've looked back in the game. How do you reflect on what was a very professional performance against the Sharks?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to look at it. Like, first game of the season, like a lot of context in terms of it was a lot of players' first games that hadn't been involved in pre-season. So, like, to come away with 5 points, they've not picked up any blues and bonus points. Like, yeah, like as a start point, we're pleased, but at the same time, I think we know, probably everyone else knows, that it is a start point and gives us quite a lot to build on, which is good. Like, that's what you want, isn't it, at this point in the season?
How do you kind of, first game is like the new defensive setup,
Yeah.
slight tweaks, and a kind of professional game in the URC. How do you kind of rate how that went?
Probably similar to what I've summarised there in terms of an overall summary. As a start point, we're pleased. Some of the areas that we've been working on, we saw some really good transfer around that. Like, ultimately, one of the main things I'm looking at is how often are we getting the ball back. Like, it's not just about stopping them scoring points. I think when you play at home and the standards that are set here, like even conceding 19 points, like we're probably not happy with that. We know we could have done better on their tries, but pleased with one individual player's performances. As a collective, you can see, boys, everyone we've trained about being a little bit more aggressive at times, reading the right pictures, going to get the ball back. Like, I thought we did that well, so that's just, it's going to be tested more this weekend and tested more as we build through the season.
Franco said after the game the only kind of negative was the kind of blow to Jack Dempsey not be able to get out there. I mean, what's the kind of latest on him? What's the diagnosis on that injury?
Yeah, like, it's tough. Like, I think obviously one thing, someone going down in the warm-up can be really disruptive, but I think like the way the players dealt with that, the players that had to come in, the players that had to change their roles slightly, I thought they dealt with it really well, and it didn't impact on the night. In terms of Jack, I know he went for a scan yesterday. I think we're still waiting on results on that. So, like, he's back in the building. He's cracking on with like what he needs to do. He seems to be in a good place, but ultimately, I think until we get the scan results, we're not really going to know.
Franco maybe said on TV that he thought it was more of a precaution rather than anything serious. Is that kind of the hope?
Oh, definitely. I think it's just when someone goes down that late on and you have to make a decision, it's quite risky to then try and push him through to then realise he's not right, and then you're making a substitute very early in the game. So I think the precaution was we've got players there in terms of 24th men that are ready to go, that are like, to bring an international or Max Williamson onto the bench. It was like, let's just take the safe option here, but at the same time, you know, when you're bringing someone like that onto the bench, then like we've still got quality individuals there to go and do a job.
How about Rory? Came off his knee but didn't seem anything too serious?
No, like, it doesn't. Again, like, I think he's potentially going for a scan, but it is just more like, let's just see what's going on there. Obviously he got injured, he played on. I think where we were at that point in the game, we had the option to bring him off. Like you say, more precaution than anything else. So again, like, both those guys were always going to be managed through this block of games anyway before the Scotland internationals, so that's very much the plan just now, is just being able to manage them as individuals within this block of games.
Must be nice to kind of bring 3 British Lions on in the second half. It shows there's been a lot of talk over the summer about, you know, the squad being stretched and the importance of young guys, but there still is that kind of real quality in the group.
Yeah, no, that's it. I think, like, to be able to have that depth to call upon, that experience. Like, I thought the whole bench when they came on lifted things, because the one bit we were probably disappointed was going in at half time and the game being quite tight. Like, we felt we should have been in a much better place. So I think when the subs came on, they gave us a lift, especially like for me defensively. I think they definitely probably lifted the intensity at times. I thought Scott Cummins was very good in defence, Rory Sutherland, like you say. So yeah, it's a nice place to be when you get a call on guys like that.
First looking at Gregor Brown, I know Frank always stresses the importance of versatility in his players, but you know, he's played, you know, he came through more of a flanker, but he's played a lot at second row recently. Do you think he will, as he not mature, because he's already mature, he's a British Lion, but do you think he'll end up maybe playing one position more than the other?
I don't know. Like, part of it's probably the way the game is going as a whole professionally. I think, like, when you get out a set piece, they're like, ultimately it's rugby players, like second rows, back rows, it's a lot of the same skill sets they have to deal with outside the set piece. I think what Gregor showed is within the set piece he can do both and do it to a really high level. So certainly, like with us, I think you're going to see him do both throughout the season, whether that's starting the second row, starting the back row, come off the bench in both positions. But yeah, he's a quality player, so I think you see that there's no real drop off no matter what he's asked to do.
What was making the challenge of the weekend from a Glasgow perspective? Is it just about building on last week and getting the points on the board?
Yeah, I think so. Like ultimately, we'll always look at ourselves first. Like I said at the start, like Friday was a start point. Like we feel there's a lot more to come, both sides of the ball, set piece, every area of the game. We feel there's more to come. So like our focus is on ourselves, and I'm looking specifically at defence. Like I say, we gave ourselves a good start point. It's now about we're talking about how can we evolve as a team defensively, and that's an encouraging thing. I think we can go do that. And then when we look at Benetton, like we know what happened there last year. They're a quality outfit, especially when they play at home. You look at the results from the weekend. I think it was only one away win across the whole league. So it's a different mindset. You need to go away, play away from home, especially against like a team like Benetton, who quality individuals, quality setup, and the experience from last year. Yeah, it probably gives you a little bit more fuel to what we need to go and do.
Do you think the Italian teams are maybe still underestimated by some? Maybe not in Glasgow, but I mean like outside the building.
I think so. Like I think it's like that's probably a perception more than anything that's been there in the past, whether it's from the national team, whether it's from the club teams. But like we've spoken openly about that this week about like it's not underestimating them, because you look at how hard it is to go to a place like Benetton and come away with a win. We found that out last year, like the hard way. So yeah, I think within the building we're not underestimating anyone, and that's the approach we're going to need to take this weekend.
Thanks very much.